welcome back to the School for Writers podcast. If you happen to miss it last episode, we have a little format change we're doing here halfway through season 2. We're about to end season 2 in October, beginning of November. And for the last few episodes, I wanted to try something new. And that something new is that in place of where I used to have an ad selling you something exciting and wonderful that we have to offer you, I'm going to just talk with you about what's happening around here, both at School for Writers and in my life. And I would love to have you be a part of that. I would love to have a conversation with some of you. So if you have a question for me, if you have something you'd like me to address on here, or if you want to have a conversation with me, find me at info@laurenmariefleming.com. Slide into my DMs on Instagram at laurenmariefleming. Slide into my DMs at School for Writers, and let's talk. Today on the podcast, I have Katie Treggiden. It feels like there's just layers on layers and layers on the amazing stuff that she's done as a writer, as a journalist, as somebody who has a passion, such a strong passion for getting people to start to think about waste and the way we waste and how we can reuse waste or prevent it to begin with. But welcome to the podcast, Katie. I am so excited to have you here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do in this world?
I am a journalist, author, podcaster, and keynote speaker. And I specialize in the overlaps between craft and design and sustainability. So I'm really interested in understanding how people who make with their hands can help with a just transition to a circular economy, or can help to inspire and empower people to make that transition. I've been working in the creative industries for about 20 years. And when I first started talking to designer makers, they were so proud of what they did. You know, they made with their hands and they made these beautiful, valuable objects. And I think probably in the last maybe 5 years, there's been this creeping sense of guilt about putting more stuff into the world, as you say. And I think the idea of trying to be more sustainable kind of sits really heavily on their shoulders. It feels like a burden or sort of responsibility. And I don't think you can create from that place. You know, I don't think you can create from a place of guilt and heaviness. And so one of the things I'm trying to do is encourage and empower designer makers to engage with sustainability in a more playful, creative, sort of curiosity-filled way. And actually, the reason we feel so bad about putting stuff into the world is because of the linear take, make, waste model. So this idea that we take virgin resources out of the earth, we make something from them, and then the other way of explaining that is the take, make, use, lose model. So you use it, and then eventually it's lost, and it becomes waste. It ends up in landfill, what have you. Specifically to your book example, I had exactly the same fear when I wrote a book about waste. What I was creating all these new things that hopefully aren't going to end up in landfill. Hopefully they have captured carbon and will stay on somebody's bookshelf for a very long time. But we actually made the cover of the book from waste. So we made it from a byproduct of the leather processing industry. We will get slaughtered on social media if this book turns up wrapped in single wrap plastic. And so I was like, can we please just try harder? And they went away and did a bunch of research, and I went away and did a bunch of research. And eventually we found this sucrose-based sort of bioplastic, I suppose, that's completely compostable. It looks exactly like plastic. It lasts as long as plastic. And actually, we did get a bit of a backlash on social media from people who thought it was plastic. So we had to manage that. But what's brilliant is the publisher has now decided to roll that out across all their books. So they are no longer using single-use plastic. Isn't that amazing?
Katie, I just love you as a human. So I'm so glad that you were willing to come on and chat with everybody. And thank you again so much for coming on today. And I learned so much, and I just love having conversations with you. So thank you for existing and for coming on.